Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, I have a very, very special guest with me. Joining me is current Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive tackle Benjamin Chukwuma. Benjamin, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good, excited, and blessed.
That's the best way to be. That
Yeah,
is the best way to be. So
always.
I want to thank you for taking some time, spending some time with me today. Obviously, all of my subscribers getting to know you and everything. So it is a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Right on. So now I want to start off with this. You started your football journey in a very unconventional way, right?
Yeah.
You grew up in Nigeria with soccer, basketball, and you didn't know a lot about American football. Is that true?
Yes. Correct.
Right on.
Yeah. Yeah. I grew up playing soccer, and I grew up watching basketball. So like, I never actually heard about football or know what football was till I came here and moved here. So yeah.
So, firstly, I got to ask, what's your go-to soccer and basketball teams to root for?
So for my soccer team, Arsenal.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. My family's a big Arsenal fan. Basketball team, I'll say Philadelphia. Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, because of Embiid, because I love the story. Is He was one of the reasons I wanted to play basketball. Yeah.
Oh, right on. I love it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So secondly, what made you move to the United States? Because you did move here with your family, correct?
I did move here with my sister and my mom. My brother moved here before us, and my dad right after him, because we moved here just for future, better future, the opportunities the land of America give us. So we basically moved here for school and to better our lives and stuff.
So you've been here for a few years now. So how has it been being in America?
I mean, it's started off slowly. The culture changed, the different things and everything, food wise and everything. It was difficult to adjust, but like by the time, like I said, football really helped me with the adjustment because once I started playing football and I was put in a room with different, different people from different part of America, so it helped me to actually start socializing and start being able to understand and learn you know the American way and stuff.
Right on. How does American food compare to Nigerian food?
It's different. It's less spicy.
Yeah,
It's way less spicy. Yeah.
I love it. So, and you did mention it, that you didn't know a lot about American football. Now, I saw something recently where you absolutely knew basically very little. Like you said, whenever you joined Georgia State, the size of the field, the rules, anything. Is that true?
Yes. Yes. I didn't know anything about football. The only position I knew was DN because when I started, I got introduced to football in my senior year of high school.
Hmm.
Uh, the When I walked in, the coach was asking me and begging me, "Come play, come play." I was like, I don't know what American football is, so I don't really want to play. But I had a class, and the class was the former teacher, the former head coach was the teacher of the class, and the player was also in the class. So every day they kept convincing me, and finally I was like, okay, let's give it a test. So I went in, they put me in the end, but I didn't really practice. I was just watching because I didn't really know what to do. And I was like, why did you ask me to come play if you're not willing to teach me and stuff? So I didn't really learn anything in high school. So yeah.
Oh, so they didn't. So they didn't really teach you. No offense to the high school, right? But like but they didn't teach you anything about football in that 1 year you played.
They didn't really teach me, and I wouldn't really for them for that because it was just a short period of time, and that's there's a lot for me to learn. So basically, the only thing I learned was the position, the end, and that's what I went to Georgia State to try out for.
Yeah, so so real quick then, like whenever you did come over to the States, obviously you said you played a lot of soccer growing up, you're a big basketball guy.
Yeah,
Did you think about playing either of those sports when you came over?
yeah. I actually wanted to join the basketball team, but as also football, basketball was too new to me. I knew about basketball. I knew about the rules and stuff, but I didn't really know the technique wise because I haven't been playing. So I actually wanted to play basketball. I trained with the team, but I tried out for the summer league. I didn't make it.
Oh
So yeah,
wow.
yeah. I still wanted to play basketball going into college. So every day I go to the rec to practice. So I did that for 2 years. And going into my junior year of college, I was like, yeah, I don't think basketball work again. Let's venture into something else. Yeah.
Oh, well, hey, you know what? At least one of the sports worked out, you know?
Yes, yeah, it worked out. Yeah,
Now, one thing I thought that was so awesome to see, right,
yeah,
is Benjamin at Georgia State. I'm just going to say it. I'll hype you up. You're a genius, basically, in my opinion. You're
thank
going
you.
and getting your degree in computer information systems. You interned for Fulton County government. What in the world made you want to dive into that type of degree and that type of work?
Actually, I actually started off as a neuroscience degree, neuroscience major.
Even
Because I wanted,
harder.
yeah, I wanted to be a doctor. Then I started playing football. I was like, okay, I can't juggle neuroscience and football. Let me just start computer information system. And yeah, you just going to tech. I seen a lot of my friends doing it. I was like, okay, it's less harder than neuroscience, so I'll just dive into it, and it pays good too. So yeah,
So you said, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to be a doctor anymore. I
yeah,
guess I'll go into computer information systems."
yeah, basically,
That's incredible.
yeah,
Now, um, while at Georgia State, or sorry, 2020 2022, um, you were learning a lot about the sport of
yes,
football, right?
yeah.
Now, I believe I saw somewhere that you had actually, when you were applying for Georgia State football, you applied under defensive end based off a friend's recommendation and also based off of um, that 1 year in high school where they said, "Hey, you're a defensive end," basically, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay, and it sounds to me like the coaching staff over at Georgia State was like, "No, dude, you're an offensive tackle." Is that true?
yeah, yeah. Because Coach Elliott, he seen me. He was like, "Yeah, you're too tall to play the end O line, offensive line." Then they put me in a kickstand. I was like, "What is this? This feels weird." I've never, I've never moved backwards. Protect. It was different and it was crazy at the time. So yeah,
Wow. Well, the first off, that's incredible. I mean, for when they say like, "Hey, go drop back into a block," you're like, "I don't know what that means."
yeah. I don't know what that means. Anything like that was one of the first things I learned how to kick set. And I
Okay.
was actually, yeah, I got good at it really, really fast. Yeah,
Yeah. So now obviously on top of deciding between going to be a doctor or going into being a computer scientist, basically, right? You would learn
yeah,
everything about the sport of football. What was that like from 2020 to 2022? Just all that type of work, all that type of different types of knowledge having to learn. What was it difficult having to do all of that at the same time?
I mean, at that time, I saw being on the field, being a football player as a privilege. So at that time, I didn't know how crazy it was, juggling school and football till I actually got to, start doing my other classes. That I was like, yeah, this is actually getting, difficult because I'm trying to learn plays and techniques. And I'm also trying to, study for my exam and pass my exam. So it was difficult, but at the same time, it was just a privilege, to be part of the football organization. So I didn't really find it that difficult. I found a way to make it work.
Well, yeah, obviously so. I mean, you did end up finishing getting your degree and
Yeah,
obviously now you're in the NFL, so I mean it all worked out, man.
yeah, praise God.
Oh yeah. Now
Yeah,
finally in 2023, you saw your first football action. You played on some special teams. And
yeah,
then finally you made a start against Old Dominion and you played in that bowl game against Utah State. What
yeah,
was that like from going to a place of coming in 2020 and saying, what is a kickstand? Like, what are we talking about here? To then, just 3 years later, right? 2.5 years, let's say, you're playing in a whole game against Old Dominion and you're playing in a bowl game on top of that. Were there nerves at all?
yeah, definitely, bro. I was every single day. I was just trying to reminisce what was going to happen. Like I was so consciously scared, but in a way, I was like, I know I'm ready for this, but like.
Right.
This is my first time starting, a football game, an organized football game. So like
Yeah.
going into ODU, I was tense. I ain't gonna lie, but thankfully the coaching staff. Then we repeated every single play. We repeated it so many times. So like when it going to the when we started playing, it was just repetitive. I was like, okay, I've actually done this before. So yeah, so it was very, very nerve wracking, but like thankfully the coaching staff helped us through
Well,
the.
the way you just described it, yeah, like your first, because for a lot of people, it's like, okay, I've been playing football my entire middle school, high school, whatever, but then
Yeah,
they have nerves playing in a first college game. It was your
yeah,
first ever organized football game. That's
yeah,
wild, man.
yeah, yeah. And at that game, I actually did good because if we had won, my coach told me I would have gotten the game ball.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, yeah, to not only go in there, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, but to not only go in there and say, like, hey, man, I'm going to play, but then play well is
yeah,
insane. That's just insane.
yeah.
So you did mention him. I want you to talk to me about your relationship with head coach Sean Elliott, because it seems like he was a really big part of taking that time teaching and developing you when you came into that team. Is that fair to say?
Yes, because Coach Elliott, if you know him, he takes a very big deal in developing players, and I've seen a lot of players if they will make it to the next level. You know, when I came in, is the person that looked at me and see me and was like, "Wow, we really need this guy." You know, so he gave me the opportunity, and that opportunity he gave me is not much that people have given me in the past. You know, it's that the first time someone actually looked at me and said, "Okay, I see something in you. Let me give you the opportunity." So like when I started, I didn't want to take that for granted. And you know, Coach Elliott is an O-line man, O-line guy himself. So every time he comes into the room, you know, tells me, "Oh, this is the technique you have to use. This is how you stay do this run. This is how you do this pass." So he developed me throughout the years and throughout the my playing career. So every single time he comes into the room or doing practice to tell me one little things to fix, and I feel like that's what helped me to reach where I am right now.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the difference, right? Like you said,
Yeah,
that high school where it's like, you're a defensive end. We don't
yeah,
really know what to do with you. And then Sean Elliott saying, no, not only are you going to be an offensive tackle, but like, we are going to teach you absolutely everything we can. So get ready, right? Like that had to feel really good.
yeah, yeah. I felt important, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, and that do you still keep in contact with Sean Elliott throughout this whole, like, obviously going into the NFL now, and still kind of ask him from time to time, like, hey, do you have any tips on this or that?
yeah. I mean, he texted me the other day to wish me congrats and tell me not to use this opportunity for granted. It's been a blessing. Like I wouldn't be in this situation if he didn't really look at me and say, "Okay, let's give this guy a chance." So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's awesome. Well, in 2024, you started the entire year at offensive tackle, did really well, right?
yeah.
Do you feel like that year, this past year that we just had, were you finally able to put everything together and be the best version of yourself? Did it feel like almost like a culmination of things where you're like, hey, I've been working at this like tirelessly, and now like I can show the best version of me?
Yeah, because before at first I was learning the techniques. Then now I started trying to learn the plays. Then I know, okay, now I'm understanding in this plays, this is kind of technique we need to use in this play. This is in a run game. It has the mid zone, outside zone. This is what steps to take. So I start understanding kind of things that the angle the running back is taking, where the running back is fitting, the amount of seconds the quarterback is throwing the ball. So I start understanding things that I feel like it really helped me play faster because now, okay, I'm not trying to just learn the technique or try to understand the plays. I actually know what to do. I actually understand what to do. So I feel like it helped me play faster.
Yeah. Now, and one thing I loved about that past year was in, I believe it was in a game against Marshall. Did you guys play Marshall in 2024?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so I remember seeing that you went to war with
Yeah,
Mike Green. He obviously
yes,
was a high end draft pick, and you did great. You know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean, talk about just kind of that matchup going up against him, and again, like you said, just being able to, yeah, just like go up against some of the best guys in your conference.
I mean, yeah, going to the game, obviously people are hyping him up and everything, but like me, when I go into games for me, I feel I just go into games like as the same. So like going to the game it was really much the same for me. So but the same thing, I actually wanted to be more physical than him. And I felt like
Mhm.
once I became more physical than him at the beginning of the game, I felt like I could able to build from there and establish my dominance in the game. I felt like it helped me a lot to be more physical than him in the game. So yeah.
Was it like a feeling of like once you kind of recognize like, okay, I think I've got him on this, the physical aspect of this, you're like, okay, I've got this. Like
Oh
this will
yeah.
be fine.
Yeah, after the first few reps, and I'm saying, okay, okay, now I see what you can do. Okay, that's basically it for me. So yeah,
Right on. I love it.
Look for things and go from there.
Right? I love it.
Yeah.
Now, I do also know your teammate Travis Glover is in the NFL now. He got drafted. Do you still kind of keep in contact with him? How did he help develop you as an offensive lineman?
Yeah, like every question I have, um, throughout the draft process, throughout the me joining the NFL, I've been picking his brains, asking him what to expect. Even some of the off season, when he was on the off season, he came to train with me and teaching me things and telling me things to expect. Even going into interviews with teams, he told me what to do, like things to prepare for and stuff like that. So I felt he really reached. I really think he helped me a lot, throughout the process, and I'm glad I have someone like that in my corner to ask questions like that.
Yeah. Obviously him and Sean Elliott as well. Like it's a
Yeah.
lot of. It seems like just describe the culture of Georgia State over there because it seems like there was a lot of guys who really took you under your wing to say, hey man, we've got you. We're gonna take care of you.
Yeah, Georgia State is a place that develop players a lot because if you see a couple of players, from Georgia State are and transferring to bigger schools because Georgia State will develop you and they do it in a way that it's not just one person or two people or three people they're targeting. They're trying to target everybody. They're trying to develop everybody. They're trying to give the best players a chance to play. So like it doesn't matter if you're a walk on. It doesn't matter if you're a scholarship. They treat everybody the same way. So I feel like that's I was able to get a chance to be on the field.
That's a great way to do it. And now you had the pre-draft process, right? You said you had a lot of questions and stuff for your teammate Travis Glover, probably Sean Elliott in there as well. What was that like? I mean, because that's like obviously not being in the football system as long. Like that was that a difficult process just to say like, hey, this is even more of a whirlwind than normal?
Yeah, it was new to me. Like even when agents started coming to my house to talk to my dad was like, "Oh, wow, I didn't know Ben took football seriously." So yeah, it was just a new process. Like agents reaching out to me, I was like, "Is this my life right now?" So yeah, it's just been crazy. It's been a dream come true. It's been it's something I'm trying to live the moment little by little, to grasp the situation. But like it's been crazy.
I
It's been
love the family reaction of,
yeah.
hey, we have agents coming in. Your son's going to be in the NFL, probably very likely. And it's, oh, I guess he's taking football pretty seriously.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That's fantastic. What was that like? Just those conversations with those NFL teams and just that pre-draft experience as well. Like, I know obviously you did end up signing with the Bucs.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of contact with them before the draft? Did you do a lot of research on a lot of teams? What was that process like for on your end?
Um, so actually, a lot of teams were reaching out to me. So I actually had a lot of options to go with, but I spoke with the Tampa Bay coach, Brian Picucci,
Hmm.
and I just from that I just fell in love with him. So like I felt like he actually saw a future for me. So that's the main reason I chose Tampa because of the connection I had with BP. We call him BP Brian Picucci. So yeah, that's the main reason I went to Tampa.
I know one thing you said recently. I think I read that you had said it with a smile on your face, understandably so, right? Was that
Yeah.
teams loved the potential of you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Um, you know, I got to ask, and you don't have to give me a specific number if you can't. How many teams reached out? Because it's got to be a lot, right?
Yeah, it was quite a lot. Yeah. It was quite a lot because I was in my head. I almost there felt bad. I started reaching out to some teams. I was like, my bad for not picking you, but like this is where my heart, is leading to me. So yeah.
Whenever you spoke to Picucci and on the Bucks, right? Did it give you
Yeah.
that like kind of similar feeling of when Sean Elliott had approached you and kind of take you back to that like just having a role for you like what they did at Georgia State?
Yeah, because when we talked, I was able to like for some reason I just felt connected with him, like because we even went over some plays and the way I was able to grasp the play so fast. So I was like, yeah, I feel like I can get developed very quickly in this program. So yeah, that's why I just chose it.
Shout out Brian Picucci, man. Hey,
Yeah,
you know. Well, I want to ask this because this is such like you had rookie mini camp recently.
yeah.
Um, and how was that experience getting your first NFL snaps? Let's start off with that.
It was like I said, everything that I've been happening to me for the last few months has been crazy. for me, practicing in the NFL grass has been crazy. So like, it just been a blessing come true. Like all the dreams a little kid in my shoes can dream of has been coming true. So like, it's been exciting. So I've been just been trying to be able to take every moment by moment and enjoy the process. Because it can be taken from you anytime. So you just enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, and I saw that I believe you had signed or you had gotten the most guaranteed money out of any undrafted free agent this
Yeah.
offseason. First off, congratulations on that.
Shout out to my agent.
That's right. Hey, shout out to your agent, man.
Yeah.
But secondly, now today, going back and thinking about that 17-year-old young man who moved over here from Nigeria,
Yeah.
did you ever think you'd be an NFL offensive tackle?
Nah, honestly, no, because I've been a kid that people look down on, and I've been a kid that had to work for everything I have. Coming from earlier in my stage of schooling, I was not the brightest, so I had to work, and I started becoming an A student. I was not the most athletic. I had to work to the point of people looking at me and calling me a Nigerian freak. So like everything has been a grind. So honestly, coming in, I wouldn't say I see myself in this situation, but at the same time, I know that the amount of work I've been putting in over the years, it's yeah, I wouldn't be, like, yeah, I never saw myself in this situation. So yeah,
Where do you feel like that perseverance comes from just to say, hey, man, like, regardless of what people say,
yeah.
regardless of what they call me, I'm just going to put my head down and work? Like, where does that come from?
I see my mom. My mom is a hard worker. Irrespective of whatever people say or do, she stands up every day to work. One days that she's complaining of her knee, you see her limping to the to go drive and take herself to work. So like, I see my mom persevere. So I feel like that's where I get it from. And honestly, it's just the fact that I just don't want people to just keep looking down on me. I just want people to see my worth. That's why when Sean Elliott gave me the opportunity, it was a big deal for me because no one have ever seen me look at, okay, let me give you a chance. So I didn't want to take that for granted.
Yeah. No, no. And right, like, obviously now, like, do you still have that drive now? Like, obviously,
Yeah,
it's like, I'm not going to settle just because I made it to the NFL and got some,
yeah,
whatever it may be.
yeah,
Right on, right on. Well, I got a couple more questions for you here. So, you just had rookie mini camp.
yeah.
I believe it was last weekend. So, how was that experience? Who have you been learning from in your brief time so far with the Bucs? Have you been able to make any like connections? Are you still getting your feet wet? Just kind of what has that experience been like so far?
Like I said, Brian Pukushi, I've been learning a lot from him over the few days. Then our run game coordinator, Kevin Carberry,
Hmm.
he's a very smart man, so I've been learning a lot from them. And the two rookies we signed, Ben Scott and Jake Majors, yeah, we've created a tight bond. So like we do things together, and we've been feeding from each other. So I've been learning a lot from them. And over the days, I've had the chance to practice with some of the vets and they take their job really seriously. It's not like college where you can pass by with your strengths or with your talent. You have to take every little detail by detail, and you have to, find every little advantage you can use over your opponent. So I feel like that's what they do. They really take their work detailedly. They do everything in details to make sure they're, able to succeed in every single day we practice. Yeah.
Have you been able to link up with guys like Luke Gedeke or Tristan Wirfs yet?
Tristan came in a day to say hey, but like we haven't really practiced. But yeah, Luke, you gotta be in the meeting room. You'll be asking questions. I see the kind of questions he asks. I see the way he thinks. So yeah, I've been learning. These little times I've been with them, I've been learning.
Right on. I love it, man. Well, hey, listen, I always ask everybody this at the end of our conversation. So, obviously, you've been through a lot, right? A
Yeah,
lot of adversity. You've persevered through a lot of it. We got to come up with a positive nickname for you, by the way. I'm thinking like the Nigerian genius or something. You know,
yeah,
I'm thinking something positive, man.
yeah,
But you've obviously been through a lot. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, but you fought through all of it to get to this moment right now. What
yeah.
should Bucks fans expect from Benjamin Chukwuma this upcoming season?
What to expect from me is someone that's willing to put their head down and work. Because, like I said, as for someone that have not been given a lot of opportunities, since the past few months, I've been given opportunities from opportunity from opportunity. I don't want to take it granted. So it's someone that's ready to put their head down, grow, work, inspire others to that in my shoes that, it can happen. You can actually do it. It can actually, work out for you. So never listen to what people have to say. Just put your head down, work, be consistent, and, be able to learn every single day. I feel like that's what they'll get from me. Someone that's going to develop to the player I know I can be.
Well said, sir. Well said. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Benjamin, thank you so much for being on. It is greatly, greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Where can the people find you on the social media?
Yeah, all my socials are Benduguy1, BenDeGuy1.
Right on. Right on. Well, guys, go give Benjamin a follow. It would be greatly appreciated. Let us know your thoughts and opinions about what we talked about. Everything down in the comments section below would be greatly appreciated. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, guys, we will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.